Welcome to Tell Me a Story. I'm Adina Samuels, and I'm inviting anyone and everyone to share their stories with me. Let's see what we get. Emma, welcome to Tell Me a Story. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It was a terribly long journey.
Emma, well, aside from being my neighbor and the best neighbor I've ever had, tell me a little about yourself.
Okay, so I am a unemployed former scientist with a Corgi and a buttload of mental health issues. I think that's probably for some. There we go.
And I've known you now for 3 years, and
Really?
yeah,
Jesus.
more than I think, or just about.
That's a period of time, Adina.
And all of those things have been true at some point, but
Yeah.
not all of them have been true at all.
No, I haven't always been unemployed. I have always been a dog parent. I have always had a buttload of mental health issues. I haven't always been. I did used to be a scientist. We're attempting to be employed again and maybe be a scientist again.
I think you're still a scientist regardless of employment status.
I mean, I do have a necklace that says scientist, and they can't take that away from me.
No one ever can. Okay, so you know how it goes. I asked for a story. I'd love to hear your story.
Okay. See, this is where inspiration was going to strike, and I knew what story I was going to tell you. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you some past examples that we've had.
Let's do that.
So our first guest shared a story of heartbreak in the Mediterranean.
Oh.
We have another guest who talked about finding a baby outside her back door.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This isn't just, no, you're just making it worse. Something that's like decent. It can't just be,
It's got to be like, let's say you're at a party, no one's saying anything. What do you tell people?
I'd probably start talking about my various pet subjects, which are things like Agatha Christie and how science is fundamentally broken.
Where's the story?
There's no story in there. There's just a whole lot of me being sad. I mean, do I know enough about Agatha Christie to tell you the biography of Agatha Christie? But no, does it have to be something that happens to me?
It can be whatever you want.
Okay. Can it be the story of me working out what story to tell you?
No.
Hello, I'm the worst guest. The worst.
Well, let me think about the stories that I know about you.
Okay.
Like, you could talk about the adventures of walking Sophie around the neighborhood. Or like a funny interaction that happened with Sophie. Maybe something like that.
Oh, yeah. Sophie the Corgi has a lot of stories attached to her. Yes, I've got one. I've got one.
We did it.
Okay. So, the day the Queen died, I was in Heathrow Airport returning from the UK from my, closest, bestest friend's wedding. This was a coincidence. This was not an escape. No one can prove otherwise. So when I got back, there are some issues with owning a Corgi and being English, but also being opposed to the monarchy. Like, in a particularly strong way. I feel like that's not the biggest problem that the UK has right now.
Okay. But it's a problem nonetheless.
I do wonder about the economic value of it, particularly given we're now learning more and more about the sort of people that they are.
Hold on. The economic value of what? Owning corgis as
The monarchy.
The monarchs.
Yes. Because the line has always been they peddle soft power for us, and they act as a huge tourist magnet.
Yeah.
And that there's a benefit from having a monarchy that essentially has no power, or is supposed not to. Things got really interesting with parts of English law that haven't been relevant since the Civil War.
Okay, which is
you don't even know when the English Civil War was, do you? Exactly. 1600s. So yeah, okay, sorry. Did I mention I have ADHD and I'm just gonna
That's okay, that's what I'm here for.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the setting is Heathrow Airport,
Day
of the Queen.
October 2022. And I'm texting my friend Seth, the journalist, because it's very apparent that Operation London Bridge is Down is going into effect, which is the name of the operation for when the Queen dies, which I have been obsessed with for years.
That's not a joke.
No, that's what it's called. Because the removal and reinstating of a monarch is a big fucking deal. I said, swear on your podcast? You can. Okay, because I'm going to.
We'll take it.
Excellent. It's a big project.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing that you have to plan for years, and has to be constantly updated.
Right, because this queen lived forever. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, she's been queen since she was 25, and she was almost 100. So
do you're anti-monarchy?
And not in any particularly strong way. Again, I feel like there are better things to be dealt with in the UK. I think that the gentle, soft-hearted environmentalist that King Charles III is, it's just knowing what that man did to his first wife. It's just,
I literally don't know anything.
Oh,
Is that the one with Priscilla and
Camilla, Princess Diana, and he did not. She was 17 when he met her. He was in his 30s. It got creepier from there.
I need to watch The Crown.
You do need to watch The Crown. And then you need to obsessively read the Wikipedia pages that are relevant to the subject at 3 a.m. People do like me.
Okay.
Like when they announced their engagement, he's standing in front of a row of cameras and she's being really excited and young and sweet and innocent and doesn't have a fucking clue what she's getting herself into. And the one of the reporters says, "So are you in love?" And she says, "Yes, very much so." And he says, "Whatever that means." It doesn't get better from there. But
would it have been better for him to lie about being in love?
And maybe he does not being a massive arsehole. I feel like that would have been an improvement. But yes, also I take your point. Maybe he doesn't actually know what love is. Because he comes from a really messed up house.
He's quite philosophical.
Yeah. I am currently reading Plato's Symposium because I've started dating again, and I am Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. I don't know if you're a Star Trek person, I doubt it.
I barely know what you're talking about at all.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Data is an android, and he's just perplexed by human life, and our various idiosyncrasies and the weird shit that we do.
Okay.
So every now and then he'll just go to the ship's data banks and just download all of the information on a subject. And currently I am Data downloading all of the available information on what love is because I'm an autistic robot and I don't know what's happening. But I seem to be dating people again.
So Heathrow Airport.
You regretted bacteria. Anyway, yes, I'm texting my friend Seth, who's a journalist, because London Bridge is down, and I'm losing my shit.
Why is it meaningful for you? Like for me, it's like, oh, this woman has been on magazine covers my entire life and more, but that's about it.
Because it's like it's the death knell of the British Empire. So the British Empire is
The death knell?
Yeah.
What is that?
It is like the bell that you ring when somebody dies.
Oh. Okay, cool.
That. So yeah, the British Empire has been in decline for a very long time, obviously. I mean, it's not an empire anymore. We do have a Commonwealth. But that was the Queen's project. So without the Queen, does the Commonwealth even mean anything anymore? And yeah, the Commonwealth was some sort of we're consciously uncoupling from all of those countries that we stole. So how do we do that in a way that makes us not look pathetic?
Okay, yeah.
So we still have some sort of relationship with this time.
You know what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Have you seen Hamilton?
No, I haven't.
So there's one. Haha, I know it. So
this is a really niche and nerdy though. So
yeah, well, Hamilton's way too pop culture for you, but the king has a song when America's trying to revolt, and that's running through my head right now.
Yeah. I've been thinking about the American independence a little bit recently for reasons, but we're not talking about those reasons.
No, we are not,
because the four walls of my apartment are a reality-free zone. It's how we're preserving our mental health these days. But yeah, so it's
and because it has nothing to do with Heathrow Airport.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Heathrow. I see you trying to get me back with my no, it's not gonna work. But yeah, when you break up with somebody and you feel really, really terrible because you maybe weren't in a great place and you were you need to do some growing.
Sure.
And then years later, you learn that your ex is like doing so bad, doing the most bad, and you're like, you know what? Glad we broke up. That's sort of how I feel about the US right now.
About the U.S. No, we're not talking about the U.S.
Yeah, tangent, and you cannot stop the tangents. So we're in Heathrow Airport. We're technically there to let the lead because you're like, and that's the journalist, and he has contacts, and he's like, well, I cannot confirm the line. And you know, we used to date Seth. We like Seth.
Okay.
He's good at it.
Is he British?
She is British. Okay. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. A lot of my friends are.
What can he do?
Anyway,
Say friends.
can you? No. The next day, we're coming out a second cup with Sophie the Corgi, who, you know, she's a Pembroke Bosch Corgi. The reason that breed is a breed, according to like the UK Kennel Club, the Canadian Kennel Club, whichever bloody kennel club you particularly fond of, is because the Princess Elizabeth took an interest in that breed of dog when she was young. Those dogs weren't breeds before she took an interest. They were Welsh working class dogs. They were for herding cattle. They weren't for running around Buckingham Palace.
So she found a sad little puppy somewhere and decided to.
She's like, I like these ones. I will have more. I will fill an entire palace full of these ones, and I will have people who have to literally pick up the poop. And you bet, Sophie, you know how much poop she eats. That's not Sophie specific. Okay, we're not going there.
No,
we're not going there.
I'd rather not. It's the thing I hate to think about the most.
Okay, we're gonna not. People can draw their own conclusions about what went on in Buckingham Palace for that period. Anyway, so we're coming out of second cup, and you know, jet lag and shit. And everybody has been walking up to us this morning to say hello and then talking about the monarchy because they hear my voice and they're like, Corgi, British person, you clearly care, and I do care, but not for the. I'm not sad about this.
Right, that's frustrating because people are, I guess, labeling you immediately based on your accent.
And I don't want to, maybe they are very in favor of the monarchy and I don't want to upset anybody. I also don't want to have that debate on the street.
You would enjoy that. See you as someone who's afraid of upsetting other people.
Oh, no, we hate upsetting other people. Unless they're doing something like morally wrong.
Right, because you have strong opinions. But maybe closely held.
I do, but I also have an awful lot of trauma and the people pleasing that is associated with that. So if we're just like on the street, like, no, I need to make myself as small as possible and we need to placate you. Now,
that's what the dog's for. That's why you got a dog in the first place.
Exactly.
The
only reason I can like do small talk with other people is because I now have a dog.
Yeah.
Again, I am Data, the autistic android from Star Trek D. It's TNG. I need something to facilitate the interaction with human beings. What's my point? Yeah, this dude, like people have been coming up to us all morning about the Queen's death and being all like, oh, she was a lovely queen. And I'm like,
Why was she not? Or I guess, yeah, let's just unpack a little bit. Like, what's wrong with the monarchy?
What's wrong with the divine right of kings? Righto. So, do we want to believe that there is one individual in our nation that has a conduit to God, and then gets to make all of our decisions for us based on the fact that they are the conduit to God?
Okay, I did not even know that's how the kings became, like, that's how this family was chosen.
So,
oh God,
that's how, well, so that's what the foundation of. So when Henry VIII split from the papacy, that's what the Church of England was founded on. The monarch is the head of the Church of England, and therefore is our Pope, is our conduit to God.
Oh,
and thus none of his decisions can be bad because he's doing them on behalf of God.
that's crazy.
That's not good, is it? No.
So that's why the monarchy has to stay in the family, because all these people are divinely.
Yes.
I see.
Can we see problems with that?
I do.
Yeah. How's democracy going these days?
But
Sorry.
Is the divine part still? Like, do people know that? Am I just completely out of the loop?
Well, technically, technically King Charles III is also your monarch.
Right. And so I also, by default, think that
Yes.
he's the messenger of God.
Yes, you specifically believe that he is a messenger of God through the Church of England.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how you feel about that. I also don't know.
The God, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how like this relate, because we now have lots of various faith councils in the UK that they work at the same level as like the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is like the one below the monarch.
Okay.
And I don't know how that's all reconciled with, because I think most people no longer believe that the monarch is the conduit to God. I think that's something of an outdated idea, particularly given the amount of, like atheism and agnosticism that is building throughout the UK, certainly.
So then, in a way, that belief moving away from godliness to like more secular life basically deems the monarchy irrelevant or just absurd in some ways.
But so what right do these individuals have to make decisions on our behalf? The way that it's always been throughout my lifetime is that, yes, the monarch technically has powers that could be implemented, but they would never do that because the British public would revolt. Except a couple of years ago, Boris Johnson tricked the Queen into proroguing Parliament, which is where we shut down Parliament.
Whether
he tricked,
was that Brexit?
That was not related to Brexit. That was just Boris being a twat. Though he did have
Really outing myself here on my.
You need to know anything about British politics. Why would you know anything about?
They're my monarch. They're my connection to God.
Apparently. Also, I'm a humble biologist. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You always know what you're talking.
Yeah, that's a responsibility.
At least it sounds like you do.
I have opinions. Wait, what is my point?
So, we have Boris Johnson.
Oh,
but I think that was a tangent to the tangent.
to possibly the tangent.
Yeah. The conversations on the street.
Yes.
Oh, whether the monarchy is bad.
Yes. And at this point, I do not know whether the UK would meaningfully be better off if we got rid of the monarchy tomorrow, because I think the UK has such deep-rooted problems with its sense of identity and with how we treat the most vulnerable members of our society. There is a callousness that it runs through British politics that I find incredibly distasteful, which is why I'm here in the first place.
With or without the monarchy. That
I don't know whether that would make any difference at all. I think it would. I think if we attempted to remove the monarchy tomorrow, it would create an enormous amount of chaos and a power vacuum, and I just don't know what any of that would look like.
You know what? I feel like they should have just gotten rid of it during COVID. Like, there was so much going on. No one would have noticed.
Oh, wait, have we told you about the thing that the British government did in August 2020 of COVID?
I know nothing.
Okay, want to hear about that?
Well, yes, but how did the monarchs get? What's their income? Is it taxes?
They are given an income by the government. They are also allowed to make their own money. So there's something called the Duchy of Cornwall, which was Prince Charles's big thing for a long time. I don't think he owns it anymore. I don't know how it works. I was over here and trying not to look at what was happening in the UK when that was happening. But so the Duchy of Cornwall, they have farming land and they create very nice biscuits amongst other things that they sell at Waitrose. And they claim profit from the sales of that. And there's an interesting question there about whether they should be allowed to do that, bearing in mind that the monarchy owns the majority of the land in the UK also. It feels like an unfair playing field to me. But again, I don't know what any sort of alternative would look like. And I don't know whether these are really the, top of your to-do list issues.
Right.
Okay, right now.
It's kind of just loading in the background.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Like, if I'm going to list things that I care about in terms of political change in the UK, removing the monarchy is not right at the top of that list.
Okay.
Even though it does mean I have awkward conversations with people on the street, because they hear my accent and they see the corgi and then they think that I like the monarchy. Which,
yeah, that actually did that to yourself.
I did do that. Well, no, Sam did that to me.
Yeah.
Sam used to live in this building. She was a postdoctoral researcher at UHN. We were basically doing the same research, except I did it in cats, so she did it in pregnancy, because there are some really interesting, like molecular phenomena related to how the placenta works that looks an awful lot like what cancer does also, which, like, that's weird.
Yeah. I think you're giving me ADHD right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I mentioned I haven't been taking my medication lately. We're trying like an organic, like, raw dogging life at the moment.
Yeah.
We're seeing how that's going. How's it going, Adina? How's it going?
I'm following, so it's going great. Yeah.
And you've got nice little people following.
To be seen. To be seen.
No, it's really interesting actually, but that's not the point. The point is, yeah, Sam. So
Sam the corgi.
Sam has been obsessed with corgis for years and years and years, and knew that she always wanted to get one. And she got her apartment here, and she was finally like in a position where she could get a job. So she did that, and then I started working at UHN, and met Sam, and we've been following each other on Twitter for years, and we just didn't realize we worked in the same building. And then we got excited and like had coffee and like hung out, and I met Frankie the corgi. And Frankie the corgi, I just fell madly in love. And then I started looking, like, when pandemic like started, I moved up my Emma's getting a dog plan.
Okay.
And started looking at, I did some data analysis to try and identify what dog breeds would fit with my lifestyle and my needs. I want a dog breed that I can keep happy. And we specifically wanted to go for a breeder because I'd never owned a dog before, and I wanted some security about behavior, because I didn't want to get in over my head, because I'd done some fostering and had become aware of, because before I was very much adopt, don't shop, and then did some fostering and got a better appreciation of behavioral issues that you can have.
Yeah, I fostered a street cat named Monkey for 2 weeks right here.
Yeah.
And it was a traumatized cat, so I had to feed it gabapentin twice a day, which is like a big sedative. Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like a zombie cat, and it would never come out when I was at home.
Yeah.
It would only eat when I was gone, and so it was like all the work with none of the joy.
Yeah.
Come from a pet. And eventually, like, I would get kind of fed up about chasing this cat around, trying to get the needle of gabapentin into its mouth, and to feed it into its mouth. Yeah. I don't even think I like loaded the needle right most of the time. Anyway.
I'm assuming you mean syringe, is what needle.
Yeah.
That's a whole other level.
Scientist, yes. Syringe, yeah, like a
stabby. Syringe.
Yeah. Anyway, it was like placebo most of this. Just when I found that out, I was like, oh. Anyway, yes, basically. So we would chase each other around the apartment, and I'd have to go to work, or I'd have to go here or there. Eventually, I cornered this cat one day, and I'd like kind of like pounce at it to like get the syringe in its mouth, and it lunges at me.
Yeah.
And that terrified me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I left like without giving it the medicine. Best of luck, cat. And then I was terrified that this cat was going to claw my eyes out while I slept that night. And luckily, it was like the second last day of my foster. Like, it was 1 or 2 days left, but that was a huge learning.
Yeah. But like, it's not the cat's fault. The cat's absolutely terrified and it's just trying to protect itself. And you're not necessarily like,
no, it's my fault.
Is it your fault?
Yeah, it's my fault. But what would I have done differently? I need to go. The cat was being it's actually made me think about like what kind of parent I'm going to be.
Oh,
when patience runs short so quickly.
But like,
yeah.
Should you have been able to foster that cat in the first place is my question.
That was an easy cat, they said.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, so you bought Sophie because Sam inspired you with Frank.
Yes, Sam had already done all the research on all of the corgi breeders in Ontario, and I was like, well, I could look into these 12 other breeds and like narrow it, or I could just piggyback on something.
Fine. Did you worry that people would associate your Englishness with the dog? Yeah. You did. And you were like, whatever.
I love this dog. It's a working class Welsh dog. It's not a posh dog. And maybe having a herding dog in a 1-bedroom apartment is, I mean, there are much bigger dogs with much higher energy like levels in this building.
That's true. Surprisingly.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that. They do it really well. They are on it, but I don't know how they do it. And yeah, I can keep Sophie happy and I can keep her healthy, and that's the only thing that really matters.
And the boxes that other people put you in,
Yes,
do not exist.
they do exist, and they are slightly entertaining, to be honest.
So what did you say on the day of the Queen's death when people were coming up to you?
It's mostly a lot of like nothingy stuff, like yeah, she was great monarch. Yeah, I mean, good innings. I don't know if that cricket reference works.
I'm South African.
The cricket reference does work. Excellent. Yeah, I don't like cricket. Never mind.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like,
So how did that experience make you, or did it kind of like it was just like an identity moment? Like,
yeah,
here I am being labeled for something because of what I sound like and my paraphernalia or accessories, or dogs.
her accessory. She's not my accessory. That works. Like, you've seen us.
I guess, has that made you more sensitive to making those snap judgments for other people, or like how do you, I don't know.
So where my brain goes there. So no, oh wait, no, I didn't tell you the best bit. Oh, I mean, I can answer that question, or I can tell you the best.
Let's go with the best bit.
Let's tell you the best bit, and then we'll answer that question. Okay. We came out of second cut, and there was this like middle-aged gay gentleman of large stature and girth, like you, sir, are a bear. Yep, you're a bear. And you clearly had a nice night out and are a little bit worse for wear. This is the picture. I mean, I don't know, but that's the picture I built in my head in that moment.
Right. Meanwhile, he was thinking you're a monarchy supporting.
Funny people in boxes, isn't it? We both wrote stories about the other for ourselves. But yes, we get a lot of people like across the street going,
yeah,
and like you can hear people shouting across the street when I walked out. It's very silly. So he did that bit. He did the bit where he pointed and was like, and then he bent down and like he whispered into her ear, "Your nerves in heaven."
Yeah, that is iconic. That is incredible.
It's
wow. That is so amazing. That sounds like he had the best night ever. That's what he came up with.
Yeah,
you know,
or at least it's very interesting living in his brain.
That is hilarious.
Which, you know, valid. Good for him.
I love how he spoke to the dog.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
You know, I wasn't there. Like, even when he was like me, like he completely ignored me.
It's like babies. Like, as soon as you have a baby, you no longer exist.
Yeah, you're thinking about babies at the moment, aren't you? Second time you've mentioned babies.
My sister just had a baby. Yeah, so it's on the brain for sure.
Yeah.
Did I mention babies more than once?
You did mention babies more than once. I'm paying attention.
So the lesson, Emma.
The lesson would be, we are naturally going to write stories about the other person when we have these interactions. So we have a little I'm writing a story about you right now. I don't know what that story is, but apparently
Tell me what it is.
I don't know. Adina's doing a podcast. It's really cool.
Okay, I'll say.
Yeah, the cute little mate.
Britney Spears.
Yeah, it is really cute. It was. Like, I'm enjoying like straight hair era.
Thank you.
Like curly hair era Adina was also really great.
It's Adina, different font.
Yeah, different. Oh, really nice flex now. There you go. Yeah, so we will naturally write stories about the other person, and those stories reflect more on ourselves than they do about like the actual reality of that person's life. It's about how we relate to people and how we understand people from like a very superficial, like, how do we categorize this person? Like, so how do we interact? We have to categorize the person so that we understand how to interact with them. and we will make snap judgments. And those snap judgments are for our benefit, and they aren't necessarily correct. And they can be refined over time. But I don't think I'm ever going to see that dude again.
Yeah, no chance to form that, man.
No.
But yeah, those snap judgments are called heuristics. And I know, here we go, psychology.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing that I think people get wrong is like often we blame everyone for making these snap judgments, but we have to because we're bombarded by so much information that the only way our brains can process what's going on is to like complete the circle or put someone in a box or something because there's just too much going on otherwise.
Yeah.
So the reason that a lot of our heuristics or rules of thumb are the way they are because of like societal norms.
Yeah.
So if we talk about like racism or ageism or whatever, like it would be wrong to say that there's someone out there who isn't racist because it's simply what society has programmed us to understand about the world.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I mean, this is kind of intense. I don't know exactly what I feel about this, but like, I don't think it's a useful thing to say, no, I don't judge people until I, have a conversation with them. Like we all do it.
Yeah.
Our responsibility is then to do the correcting or the rewriting.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. That's my spiel.
I like that spiel. I think the nice, cute summation of that is may we defy our programming. May we defy our programming. Words.
May we defy our programming.
Yes.
Is that a quote from somewhere?
It's been going around a Discord that I'm on. I don't know if it's an actual quote from somewhere else.
I like it. Well, Emma, may we defy our programming.
May we defy our programming.
Thanks for listening to Tell Me a Story. Let me know what you think and like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill.